Smith. We want to dive in a little deeper, so let us know what's going on. Let us know where we at first.
Well, we at the old stomping grounds of Holmesburg Prison, affectionately known as the Terror Dome. Right now, currently, this is a training facility for the staff, up-and-coming staff members that will eventually work their way through the county and graduate successfully to the state system. Holmesburg bring back a lot of fine memories, right? And I say fine because I ran into quite a few mentors, quite a few guys I come up with in the street. But prior to coming to Holmesburg, I knew I would wind up here either by coming down from another state penitentiary to come down on ATA. ATA, back then, they called coming down on writ ATA. And this is when you have a pending case in the court system, whether it be in the lower courts, on a post-conviction PCRA, or either on a habeas corpus on a federal level. But either way, you would have to come down here to Holmesburg, right? So back then, man, like it was tough for a whole lot of dudes, man, because you had a lot of dudes that were separated or dudes that had different enemies in different camps. You had it where if one dude from another camp couldn't get to you, they'll send a letter down in Holmesburg, look, such and such coming down on writ, handle that. Whereas, you know, today times has changed, but in retrospect, I want to take you back prior to coming to Holmesburg Prison. I stayed, you know, down at the Youth Study Center on the security side. On the security side is where juveniles that were, you know, that were locked up and charged as adult. Right, so they would put you on the security side. You had 4A, 4B. On the third floor, they had females down on the lower levels on the side, on the security side that we was on. But you had the open side. On the open side, that's where all the guys, they transition in and out. They might leave there and get transferred to State Slayton Farm, Glen Mills, etc. But for the most part, I stayed down the Youth Study Center, the original Youth Study Center.
And where was that at? Where was the original Youth Study Center?
That was down there past, what was that? Past the Parkway, right? And it looked like a big museum. It had a whole lot of statues built around it, right? But when you come through that Parkway, you'll see, like, go to the family court, 8th and Vine, right? All up in that area, you would have to go back and forth to family court or juvenile court. But, you know, you go through that parkway, you'll see the Youth Study Center is no longer operating now, but I stayed there for a total of 2 years and maybe 8 months.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but could you run it back of what led you to the youth center for someone that's watching this for the first time?
Say it again.
Could you just reiterate and run it back for someone that's watching this for the first time? What led you to the youth center?
Well, what led me to the Youth Study Center was, you know, getting caught up in society, my behavior patterns, my behavior problems, me getting involved, you know, with individuals that was in tune with what was going on in the street, right? And back then, you know, that was pretty much the norm like it is today, but back then it was pretty much more incentives back then. When you had, you know, we had more so sports to lean on as opposed to now. A lot of the young boys don't really focus on sports. You know, the only thing they worrying about is their phone, they package, you know what I mean, and they pose.
So what crime led you to the youth center?
Well, allegedly I was charged with the homicide and robbery. You know what I mean? And due to the ramifications of my case, with my case pending in the United States Supreme Court, I won't go into specific details about this by way of advice from my attorney, right? But some things will be revealed, some things have been revealed about, you know, what happened in regards to my case. But overall, it was a railroad, you know what I mean? Cut and dry. And to speak on certain things specifically, I won't touch on things without the advice of my attorney.
Okay. So I want you to let the viewers know, when you came in this prison, how was it when you first came in? Like, what was the first initial walk in? Like, was it worse than what you thought it would be? Were people trying to press you at the door? Was it an easy walkthrough?
Well, it was definitely not an easy walkthrough for anybody, you know what I mean, that experienced being in Holmesburg. Holmesburg was a, you know, an unfiltered playground, man, you know, for dudes that was, you know, heavy in rotation with the gun, dudes that knew how to hold their hands, right? You had different dudes in different lanes. Dudes knew what lane to be in, you know what I mean? So if it was a thing where a dude was running their mouth, it was always other incentives such as the gym. You know what I mean? Put them boxing gloves on. So it was less of, you know, you see dudes running their face now as opposed to then. But as a man, I think that, you know, coming through any type of penitentiary, because this Holmesburg State Penitentiary was worse than some, county was worse than some of the state penitentiaries. This is why they named it the Terror Dome. Because dudes actually got killed inside of this prison for a bathrobe. You know what I mean? You know, and things like that happen, man. You know, everything that you heard about, you know what I mean, it's true about it. You know what I mean? So if you know how to hold your own, you know what I mean, you know, you're gonna run into situations where you're gonna have to solidify your stance as a man, right? My advice, mind your business, man. You know what I mean? And keep your circle small. You find a lot of times where dudes click up, you know what I mean, and try to find help. You know what I mean? But I was one, I didn't keep a lot of dudes around because I didn't need it. But I found my way through it. Because, you know, most of the time I spent here, you know, was only for a couple months before they transferred me upstate. I was just basically thinking about the bigger picture up there. You know what I mean?
So what was the craziest thing you seen being in this prison?
The craziest thing I seen in here, man, a dude hanging himself, man. You know, right before they went on trial, they just gave up. They knew they was going to lose the case. The guy was fighting 2 homicides. You know what I mean? And they strung up, and they was looking for him that morning, and he was dead. You know, so you know it happens, man. You know, and that comes with people coming into this situation not knowing how to prepare themselves. I didn't know how to prepare myself, but I had to channel in on maintaining a good, strong mental capacity, man. And I think my therapy was reading, you know what I mean, and getting more in tune to knowing myself, man. Because I'm saying even at that stage, you don't fully develop until you're 25. I was just 18 before I left out this joint. Matter of fact, a couple months shy to being 18 and going up graded for it and going right out in population.
So hold on. I want to run that back. So you mean to tell us you was 17 years old in Holmesburg?
I was 2 months shy of 18 when they sent me here after I was convicted. I had to come here before I went to the diagnostic center at Grateful.
Now, which one would you say is worse? Because I know in some previous episodes, said Greatersford had a very strong name.
I'ma say this. They like twin brothers, man. You can't. It's like apples and oranges to say anything else. They twin brothers.
But who's the number one though? There's only one number one.
I mean, everybody that came from here went to Greaterford, so it had to start here. You know what I mean? It had to start here. A lot of dudes got their name before they got to Holmesburg, but it was a lot of dudes that got their name while being in here. You know?
So how do you feel coming back as a free man to be able to sit down and tell your story on these very steps that you were behind these walls and you didn't have freedom? How does it feel? Coming back fresh, fly, smiling good?
And for the people, man, for the first time, for the people that's first seeing my face, man, let me take these Gucci's off. Man, it's surreal, man, just to be able to be out here and be at liberty to go wherever you want to go, you know what I mean? You know, with me, it's like, it's no limit, you know what I mean? No limit for me as far as what I can do. Just being able to be out here for 5 years and see how much I've achieved.